Today we talk about why summer hours are a bad idea and the alternative your employees really want. So a few years ago, I was on the job hunt. I was looking for a job that I thought would be really enjoyable and fulfilling, something that mattered to me and mattered to the world. At that time, I was actually working for a company that did important work, but really had a horrible company culture. There was little innovation, next to no innovation, no strategic direction, and very little care about employees that actually worked at the company. It was kind of a work till you drop culture. And pairing that with the lack of innovation really gives you the recipe for burnt out and frustrated employees. And to be honest, I was no exception. So with all that in mind, I decided to actually go out and look for a new job. It's only logical. If you're frustrated somewhere, go find somewhere else to be. So I looked and applied to countless jobs in my area. I would say probably hundreds of applications. And what I found with all these applications was a wide spectrum of companies, and some of them really seemed to care about their employees. Good benefits, exciting innovation, and of course, summer hours. Now, for most companies, that was a badge of honor. And personally, coming from a job that I was actually in, it sounded like an absolute dream. You mean that during the summer, I get to leave at a half a day on Friday? That's amazing. I actually saw this on a company's website that made children's toys, a really big, popular company, and I applied to a job there. Turns out, I didn't get it. What I did get, though, was a different job, and it's where I currently work for my 9 to 5, quote unquote. I'll get to those quotes in a second. But guess what? I love where I work, and they didn't actually have summer hours. What they did have was something far better and what I think actually matters to employees. But before we get into what actually matters, let's talk about two reasons why I don't like summer hours. First, a half day on Friday doesn't actually work for everyone. Now, it always seems like Fridays would be the best day to have a half day. You get a jump start on the weekend, maybe before a holiday, whatever it is. But it doesn't apply well to all people. Some people may actually want to come in late on a different day or leave early on a Wednesday so they could be with their child. Maybe leave early on a Thursday to go hang out with friends they haven't seen in a while, or have a date night with their spouse. The reality of life is that all of our schedules are very different and very dynamic. And while a half day on Friday offers a great way to get started on the weekend and some good flexibility, it doesn't work for everyone. Secondly, summer hours prioritizes hours over results. Ultimately, summer hours don't actually let you work less hours. In fact, you're working the same amount of hours just to reduce them on a single day. You typically hear of summer hours that have a half day on Friday, but 10 hours every other day. So you're really still putting in the full 40 hours. Now, let me say that at my current job, I probably put in closer to 60 or 70 hours a week. And that's where the quotes for the 9 to 5 come in, right? I don't actually just work 9 to 5. I'm typically working 9 to 7 most days, taking breaks in between, maybe work until 10 some days. And the thing is, I'm not complaining because I actually really love what I do. And let me just say, the company doesn't require me to put in 60 or 70 hours a week. It's what I want to do because they offer me something else. And really, the importance here is that the prioritization of hours over results is ingrained in summer hours, right? The benefit of the flexibility is simply given to those who put in the hours that are required, 10 hours per day. It seems that what becomes valued is simply you sitting in a seat for 40 hours, and it doesn't really mean anything. Your presence in a particular location does nothing to forward your company or your business. Your hours simply don't translate directly to results. And what your manager or CEO wants is results. Typically, the correlation is that when you're sitting in a seat and doing things, you have the ability to produce more work. But now with the age of social media and the internet, you have the ability to sit in a location and do essentially nothing. You can really just pretend to be doing work. And people are very good at this. Let me just say, at the various companies I worked at, people are extremely extremely talented at making it seem like they do a lot of work, and in fact, not doing much at all. So with those two things in mind, right, that a half day on Friday doesn't work for everybody, and summer hours prioritizes hours over results, what is the thing that helps deconstruct that? What is the benefit that your employees actually want? It's very simple: flexibility. Let's look at some stats I found online at smallbizgenius.net. The stats focused on remote work, but there are two key stats here that are very telling for flexible hours. One of the statistics says 40% of people feel the greatest benefit of remote work is the flexible schedule. 76% of workers would also be more willing to stay with their current employee if they could have flexible hours. Now, that last stat is eye-opening and should really make you think long and hard about the great benefits of flexible hours. Employee retention is huge and critical for your business to succeed, so why not help employees get what they want? In fact, one of the main reasons why I work so much is because I know that if I need to cut out and take some personal time, my boss would happily let me do it. I want to leave early to spend some time with my wife, or leave early to catch a ball game even. I really don't fear that I can do that. And that's because it's not simply about hours, but results. And now the main crux of this is not just about giving employees what they want. It's about trading in a less effective benefit for a more effective one that drives the thing that your business actually cares about: results. Now, if you're harping on the idea that FaceTime actually matters, you breed a culture of people who just want to look like they're working. If you want to give kudos to the people who stay late just because they stay late, you forget that hours don't mean anything. People can work endless hours and basically get nowhere on projects. If results aren't tied and central to this equation, then it doesn't matter. The way that I work with my team is that I tell them you can come and go as you please. In fact, there are going to be certain strategic things that I want my team to accomplish or do, and if they get them done, I don't particularly care if they even work 40 hours. For me, if you're able to drive home results and get the business moving forward in a positive direction, then your hours don't matter to me. As long as we hit our projects on time, or we project out that we're going to miss our deadline because of some uncontrollable things or some issues or hiccups that happened in a project, then I'm good with it. Your hours don't matter that much to me. Now, if you're overzealous with your flexible hours and it makes you miss your deadline, as I'm talking to one of my employees, I find this out, and you don't have a reasonable explanation, then we sit down and have a conversation about it. I don't immediately pull out the rug from somebody and say, hey, you missed this deadline, I'm pulling your flexible hours. In fact, we probably have multiple conversations about it, and I try to understand the root of the issue. Is it simply because an employee is slacking off, or is it more because they're dealing with something else personally? Or is the work that I assigned unreasonable? Is the project deadlines unreasonable? Whatever it is, I give employees the benefit of the doubt. I don't want to assume and have anybody come into the building and say, I don't assume that anybody comes into the building to say, I want to cheat my employer out of time because I hate them or anything like that. I think where I work does a really good job about hiring. And if you have the right talent, that's what really this is about, getting the right talent. You can give them that flexibility. Give them the ability to choose how they want to work, as long as they're doing good work. Now, what I have seen anecdotally is a team that's more than willing to put in the hours to get what they need to get done. In fact, I've seen them numerous times want to cut out early, and guess what? I'm okay with it because the results they're producing are great. I want them to be able to go out and pick their kid up from school or meet their family for dinner. I don't want them to be able to or be forced to stay at work and miss these important, crucial life events, because that's a recipe for disgruntled and unengaged employees. And statistics constantly proves that engaged employees produce better work and perform at a higher rate. Ultimately, the flexibility in working hours allows the team to feel empowered to make their own decisions. instead of working on things that don't matter, they prioritize the things that do. They prioritize what's going to move the business forward. And so instead of sitting around on Facebook or Instagram all day when the boss isn't looking, when I'm not walking around, they work on the important things. And so if your company does offer summer hours, I encourage you to engage with your management and your employees to talk about the things that really matters. Because I believe that summer hours, while it is a good benefit, it's not the best benefit. And it doesn't hit the mark on what really matters. When we start shifting our focus to what really matters, we start to see real progress in our business. Thanks for listening. Until next time, stay proper.